Yeah, and to that point, I'm really curious how the Christmas setup came to be, and we'll talk for a minute about the incredible cast you had and how it's history making as the first ever LGBTQ plus centric holiday movie on
Mhm.
Lifetime. Talk a little about just the process. I think it's opaque for a lot of people. The process of getting to be able to write this project, and I know you've been writing for many years. What was
Mhm.
that like, and how did that sort of come to be?
Well, I've been writing for a long time. Like I said, I started doing Christmas movies at CBS back in 2001. That was like kind of during the 9/11 period, and I had written a kind of a Christmas Angel thing that Peter Falk did. We ended up doing three of them at CBS. They were hugely successful. Back in the days where you get like 21 million people would watch your premiere night, which was, well, your premiere night was your only night, but
Yeah,
because there was no, residual market
right.
afterwards, so they didn't air it on streaming platforms. Um, so I had always wanted to put gay characters and stuff back then because nobody was writing in that space, especially for Christmas movies.
Yeah.
And I had a movie somewhere back at a place in, I think it was 2010 or 2012. And it involved a boarding school where kids were left over Christmas and high school kids. And it was kind of a goodbye, Mr. Chips for Christmas. That was kind of the idea. And I wanted to make one of the kids gay. And I didn't want to make the plot point about him coming out. I just wanted the fact that he was gay and it was accepted. And at some point, he
Right.
got some advice from his professor, Mr. Chips, so to speak. And I met with a lot of resistance at the network, and we were kind of told, if producer was told if you're going to fall on your sword, it's not going to be for this kind of movie. It's not going to happen here.
Hmm.
And then every so often, I would try again, and I would watch as other networks were making Christmas movies, and it was always there were no gay characters. Sometimes there were coded gay characters. It was where Hollywood always go. It was the florist. It was
Right.
somebody's secretary assistant. It was just so bullshit. And then there was one that really made me mad a couple years ago. It was a Valentine's movie that had someone who was probably gay. And again, I think he was a florist because maybe that's how straight people think they have to,
Gay people are
or
right,
used
right,
to, not anymore,
right,
God
right,
forbid. But
right.
everybody at the movie ended up at this big party at the end. It was like a dance party, and everybody was coupled except the florist. And he's
Oh,
standing off to the side talking to another pseudo gay character. And you knew he was a gay character because he had kind of a nice haircut. Um, and it was absurd. And they talked to each other while every other character in the story got to dance with someone on the dance floor. And I just thought, this is just, I can't stand this. This is driving me nuts. And so a couple years ago at Lifetime, I did a movie, Christmas Around the Corner.
right.
And I said to my producer, Danielle Von Cernick, who was great, who I love, who I do many of these projects with, I want a B storyline that involves a gay Episcopal priest and his husband who's African American, and they just had a baby. And let's not make a
Hmm.
big deal about the fact that they're gay, their parents, they live in a small town and they're just like everybody else. And she said, great. And so when we took it to Lifetime, to our executive, Sapna Vyas, who again is wonderful, she said, go for it. And then when the script was written, we got sponsorship. Chewy.com wanted one of the couples to use our product. And I said,
Hmm.
okay, well, it's got to be the priest and his partner, his husband and the baby, because they have a dog and they run a shelter. And it was about giving pet food to homeless
Hmm.
people who have pets. So it was a lovely idea.
Hmm.
And I said, "Are you okay to Chewy, with this being the gay characters?" And they're like, "Absolutely." And we did it, and Chewy was happy, and the sky didn't fall in, and
Right.
Lifetime was happy. And then the next year, Lifetime featured a same-sex kiss, which seems like ridiculous that we're celebrating these things. That was 2019, but it was a big deal.
Yeah.
And I'd been lobbying to do a full-on gay Christmas movie. And I finally pitched something to Sapna at the beginning of 2020. And she said, well, we started talking about it in 2019. And she said, let's do it. And she got the okay from high up. And Lifetime never looked back. They were incredibly supportive. I can't believe it. It was amazing.
Wow. Yeah, and it doesn't obviously hasn't always happened. Doesn't always happen.
No, usually doesn't happen. Right.
It doesn't. So would you say even to this day? I mean, I know you worked in this case with Lifetime, but would you say more broadly your this experience of sort of pushing the needle and then having a LGBTQ led cast and storyline that is still, that is, I mean, based on numbers, I think we know this as well, but sort of still sort of far too infrequent, basically.
Oh yeah. Okay. So there were maybe 90 Christmas movies made, and we're just talking about the Christmas movie space, right?
Yeah, right.
There were about nine. I think there were either 90 or it was 110 made. We got ours made. Hallmark had one with a B story involving gay characters, and then Hulu picked up Happiest Season, which was a feature, independent feature, which wasn't made by Hulu, was broadcast by Hulu because of COVID. They couldn't, and that involved, two women. But I think that was it. Maybe what, three? Oh no, there was Paramount Network had one, like a Brokeback Mountain Christmas or something. Cowboys. I don't know. I didn't watch. I'm sure it was lovely, but I didn't watch. So that's like 4 movies out of like 110, or there might have even been more. So yeah, we need more of these.
Right.
And the response we got from Twitter the night of airing, I mean, Twitter was on fire. And even for 10 days later, people were still writing about the movie. Oh, I watched it 3 times. Oh, I told my boyfriend to watch it. Oh, I had my parents watch it. People writing things about where was this movie when I was in high school and struggling with my sexuality, which, rung true for me as well, because that was my experience. And I would have really loved to have had something like that at the time. So.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, as a gay kid growing up, even in New Jersey, liberal New Jersey, right? Like
Right.
Not having representation on screen. I remember when Will and Grace, came out, literally and figuratively, I guess. But still feeling like this is one example, maybe that doesn't fully represent me.
Right.
So I was wondering if you could just talk about how having a panoply, having a diversity of diverse representation, having more, as you said, could be so impactful.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we get a shot to do some more of these, and that the diversity thing's really important. Just because of the limitations of the story, budget, timing, we had lesbian characters, but they were in the background. So it's really important for me to do something with gay women. That's something I've been wanting to write for a long time as well. There's also involving, the entire umbrella under LGBTQ plus community, trans people, people questioning, people transitioning. There's a lot of seats at the table, and it's time that we start inviting more people to come to that table. So that's why it was so important to get this movie made and make a splash with it. And certainly in the press, we had so many articles, and they were so positive. Really, of all the gay themed holiday movies that came out, we seem to get the lion's share of the positive press, which is great, and I'm very thankful for it. But I also think it's because we focused upfront 100% on the gay characters, and we didn't have to have it a coming out story. Nobody was lying about their sexuality. We weren't relegated to the B or the C story. We fully embraced it, and people really responded to that.